Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the July 3rd Daily Inspirational Message, the condensed version. It's 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message. And if you find the message of use, please be so kind as to like the video. Thank you for that. Here we go, the title. Being appreciative, not judgmental of our life experiences. Paragraph 1. When we are not at peace with our past, it is because we're holding on to some unforgiving thoughts. We have been programmed by the ego to judge our past and those from it, God's creations as guilty and deficient in one form or another. When aligned with this mindset, let us not despair. For we can only punish ourselves with our own thinking for so long before we start to look for a better way. At some point, we will understand and be grateful to our past for being our greatest teacher. We will see that we no longer need to buy into the ego's fairy tales as real or participate in its judgment-centric, childish games. At some point, we will see that our past and everyone from it has, in their own unique ways, helped us become the wiser, more self-aware, loving, and compassionate being that we are today. Paragraph 2. Today, when judgmental thoughts come knocking on our mind's door, let us use our past experiences to recall that such thoughts have never delivered to us the state of peace. With this understanding at hand, let us decline their entrance into our mind and kingdom. A mind that is awake, understanding the useful nature of the past, offers gratitude to its past and those who were a part of it. A mind that is not yet awake uses judgment to define and relate to its past and those who were a part of it. Let us recall that we would not be who we are today without our past. Let our present self recognize this and offer our past self gratitude for the courage and determination that we had to get to where we are now. Knowing this, let us now look upon and offer our present self gratitude and grace. Understanding that our future self will greatly benefit from all our current efforts, interactions, mistakes, lessons, and challenges. Right. Being appreciative, not judgmental of our past experiences. Okay. I'm going to make 5 points that I trust will assist both of us in the implementation of today's daily inspiration. Point number 1. Today, in point number 1, let us practice self-grace. Imagine thinking in alignment with the mind of God, with in alignment with perfect love, and grace being one of those reflections of that perfect love. And so God sees us, his children, with grace. Why? Because he sent us here to be the light of the world, to be a loving example to others, to help remind others that they deserve to live within the light in them, not in the darkness or delusions of the ego's fairy tales and world. And so he needs us to be in alignment with his mind, with love. And so whenever we start to judge ourselves, God does not want us there, because all that judgment, that condemnation, it just veils. It veils what we're here for. It veils our light. Judging ourselves, condemning ourselves or others, being angry or hateful or resentful, it all veils our light. And that's why God has grace for us, because he knows what we're here for. And so all we have to do in point number 1 is remember why we're here for. If God has grace for us, why not practice trying to think like God thinks and offer ourselves grace? Because there's so many times people say to me that they can forgive X or Y person, but they cannot forgive themselves. And all it takes is self-grace. All it takes is to recall how God thinks of you, and then practice thinking of yourself like God thinks of you. It's not rocket science, really. And so today, point number 1, Practice self-grace. Practice knowing that you're here to be the light of the world, that God needs you to be the light of the world. And that's why he doesn't want you to be judging yourself because of your past challenges or interactions or mistakes or sins or whatever you think you have done to not deserve God's grace. Okay? God has no need to judge you. He has no need to forgive you because he never judged you. And so you just practice trusting source and following his ways. And that's point number one, self-grace. Okay, that was long enough. Sorry for that. Point number two, whenever we lack peace, let us recall, if I'm lacking peace, it's not because X or Y happened to me in my past. It's because I'm choosing, consciously or not, to carry my past without grace. If I were to practice carrying my past with grace, I would have peace. And so today, if you don't have peace, if you're not being the light of the world that God created you to be, if you're using judgment instead of appreciation to your past self, and now to your present self because you carry your past self into the present, know that, okay, I'm lacking peace now, not because of what X or Y thing happened, or X or Y person did, or what I did in the past. It's because I'm not choosing to see the past through God's lens, through God's loving, grace-filled lens. And so that's point number two. If you're lacking peace, it is because you're not having that self-grace. It's not because of X or Y situation. And so in point number two, we practice remembering, okay, I lack peace right now. Why is that? Oh, it's because some sort of attachment to my past and how I interacted with it? No. It's not because of that. It's because I'm not seeing the world through grace's lens. It's because I'm not seeing every step of my journey as a step from my own awakening. It's because I'm not seeing the whole picture. So let me just practice offering myself grace when I lack peace in point number two. Okay, point number three. Remember, we have the power to undo what we have done. Whenever we're lacking peace, whenever we're being judgmental of our past experiences, instead of being appreciative for our past self. If we're being judgmental, it's because we are choosing to be judgmental. And if we're the ones choosing to be judgmental of that, then we have the power to undo what we have done. So anytime you're holding the past with anything other than, or you're looking at the past with anything other than love and appreciation for it, what it made you, who you are today, for making you who you are today, then remember, okay, if I'm holding onto this judgment, I can also let it go. I can also forgive myself. I can also practice thinking in alignment with the mind of God, with forgiveness itself, because forgiveness is just a reflection of that love, of God's love, is forgiveness, is grace. So let me undo the chains that I myself have used to chain me to the past. Let me break those chains now through the act of forgiveness, by choosing to think in alignment with the mind of God, with the grace of God. So that's point number three. You can undo what you have done. If you're chained to your past because of some misperception you're holding on to about yourself, break those chains through the act of forgiveness, reminding yourself that you're not here to be judgment. You're not here to add darkness to the darkness. You're here to be a light within the darkness. You're here to be the light that God created you to be, to help guide your brothers and sisters out of their own dreams and back into the light in them. So that's point number three. Point number four, let us practice redefining our past. Many times, let's say we judge or become angry or resentful in some past situation, and then we carry that forward to the present moment, right? But we don't see how much time and energy we spent in the drama, in that darkness. And then sooner or later, after so much time supporting that darkness as real, we tire of it, because that's not our function as the light of the world. We get tired of judging ourselves or others. Sooner or later, we can experience a lot of pain, but that pain is not endless. There must be a day when we say to ourselves, enough is enough. I'm tired of judging my brother or sister, situation X or Y. I'm tired of judging myself and feeling guilty and shame. It's time to let go. It's time to forgive. And so today I'm choosing to redefine my experience and see how that situation actually helped me become a more compassionate being, a wiser being, a more loving being, a more gentle being. So thank you, situation X or Y. Thank you, person A or B. Because when I went through that interaction and I experienced that judgment and anger and hatred and pain, little by little I started to realize that's not what I wanted to be or represent in this world. So there was another way, a way that could lead me out of the darkness and back into the light in me. And that is through the act of understanding and forgiveness and grace. And so I offer myself that forgiveness and grace so that I can become the light of the world that God created me to be. And so that same exact situation, all I do is redefine it and see how that situation helped me become this wiser, more loving, compassionate being. And so thank you, past, and everybody from your past, for helping you become who you are today. And so in point number 4, we just redefine. And by doing so, we come to a place of peace. And the last point is simply to offer your gratitude to your past and to your past brothers and sisters. Those exact same brothers and sisters, or even yourself, that the ego would demand you condemn and hold in judgment, hold them in the prison within your own mind, burden yourself with those judgments, and that anger, and that resentment, and that jealousy, and that guilt and shame, and the need for revenge. You're starting to realize that is not what you want. No matter what the ego says, no matter how right you are to be angry or resentful, that never brings you to the state of peace. That never helps you realize how every step of your journey has helped you in some way, shape, or form become who you are today. And so no matter how dark your situations were in the past, God, being perfect love, will never offer you a challenge you could not overcome. And so you went through the darkness. You overcame or are overcoming that darkness so that you can be the light of the world that God created you to be. And it was only because of your brothers and sisters' presence in your life that helped you experience that situation, that helped you gain those spiritual tools, that spiritual knowledge, that helped you gain that greater wisdom and understanding and compassion and grace for self and others. And so it is your life experience that you are to be appreciative for. Your whole life experience has made you who you are today. And so in point number 5, we offer our gratitude, not our condemnation, to our brothers and sisters. We offer ourselves grace, not shame or guilt. And in doing so, we align once again with the mind of God, with love, with grace, with peace, with joy, with hope, with healing. And by doing so, become the light of the world that we were created to be. And in doing so, we learn to appreciate our past experiences. And we learn to be appreciative, not judgmental of our past. And in doing so, we free ourselves from the past so that we can be truly in the now, where we belong, being the light in each and every moment and in interaction, offering forgiveness in those times when the world insists upon judgment or condemnation, reminding others how they can trust God and find peace instead of dealing with their anxiousnesses and worries and doubts and fears. Okay, that's been long enough, I think. Anyway, I trust those were, pardon me, those were somewhat useful to you. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.